everybody, I'm back again with another book haul. I was actually able to make it to the library book sale, so I got a bag full. I got 2 bags full, but some were not for me, so I don't have those. I did already give them away, but I have a couple that I got in the mail that I ordered from Amazon. I have some from a used bookstore, and then the majority of this is the library book sale. So I will show you the ones that I got from the used bookstore. And if you hear me moving around, there's a cat down here in the bag I took my books out of, and his little sister is in. She's inspecting, let's know what he's doing. First one I have is Life of Pi by Yann Martel. Yes, I am the last person in the world to read this book. My husband and I caught a couple minutes of the end of the movie, and we're like, oh, that seems interesting enough. And tell me if it's hokey or not. I kind of have mixed emotions, but I had trade credit and I didn't pay anything for it, so let me know. And then You'll Grow Out of It by Jessie Klein. Apparently she is, this is nonfiction. Apparently she is a sketch writer, head writer for, was the head writer for Inside Amy Schumer. And then also has also written for Saturday Night Live. Never heard of her before, but I read the first couple of pages and it sounded decent for 75 cents. And then I got, yeah, you can hate me on this, but it was, you know, something that I knew I could skim through and read quickly and then send it off to a friend. It's Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins. I did read her other book, which I don't remember what it was. Official Book Club Selection, and it was decent. And yes, we all know her whole scandal, and truthfully, hate me if you must, but didn't bother me. He is what he is, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to go into politics. Okay, the next ones are the ones that I got through Amazon, and you, if you watch my last video, have already seen 2 of these. I've got this round, More Tales of Debauchery by Mamrie Hart. I read her You Deserve a Drink, and I watch her on YouTube, and she is a stitch. She makes me giggle, so I am so looking forward to this one. Then we have The Atomic City Girls by Janet Beard. This one is about Oak Ridge, Tennessee during World War II and the development of the nuclear bomb. I read, I think I already told you this in the last video, I read and loved the nonfiction, not by this author, of just the girls of the Atomic City, and loved it. And then The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips. This one I have planned a read-along next month, so I am so looking forward to this. It's taking all of me not to start it, but I am, Patrice, I'm being very patient. So you let me know if we're starting this the 1st, did I say March? 1st of April. So you let me know. Or were we supposed to start it? I forget. You have to let me know. And then the last one, 17 are from the library book sale. These 2 were just $1 a piece, which I'm glad they were, because they're not reading material. Slow Cookers for Dummies. I don't need any tips on how to use my crock pot because I use it. I'm using it today. I have teriyaki pork chops in there. Smelling good. There are a couple of interesting recipes in here that I'll try, but more than likely this is going to find its way to the nearest Goodwill. And then the Cat Who Cookbook, based off of Lillian Jackson Braun's mystery series. Can we count this as I read it and it's mystery, March mystery? And there are some dessert recipes in here that I do want to try. So I will more than likely either keep this or actually give it to a friend. Like I said, they were just a quarter. They were trying to get rid of them. And I found the cookbook section very last when I had a heavy bag of books and could have found more. So I was bummed about that. But I know for the next time what to look for first. No particular order on these. I have the American Heiress by Daisy Goodwin. I think this has been off and on my wish list. It has decent enough reviews, and it intrigued me because it does take place at the turn of the 20th century. Talking about a kind of a American society princess who has to, doesn't have to, but she moves to England and gets married for a title. So she could be a title. Fancy. This one could technically go with my cookbooks. It was a quarter, and I tried to get the sticker off of it, and it really bummed me out because I couldn't. So I told my husband I was going to have to get the peanut butter out. It's Cuisines of the Axis of Evil and Other Irritating States, A Dinner Party Approach to International Relations by Chris Fair. This one is basically what it says. It's North Korea. Let's see what it is. Israel, Pakistan, Iraq, North Korea, Cuba. Satirical kind of, hey, these are, you know, most hated countries. I don't want to say our most hated, but the dastardly countries and what they eat. So I skimmed through and looked through the recipes. There is a japchae, however you want to say it, recipe in here that is similar to the one that I'm going to try tomorrow. I was going to make it tonight, but then I did the pork chops. It's basically a potato starch noodle with a bunch of vegetables and marinated beef. So I'm going to try the Manchi. I can't say her name. She's on YouTube. She is a Korean chef. She has awesome videos. Her recipe is the one I'm going to follow because it sounds much better and takes a little bit longer, but I'm looking forward to trying it. So there is a klecha recipe, date pastry that I do want to try too. It's just finding the time to take more than a half an hour to make recipes. Enough about that. We have Flight of Dreams by Ariel Lawhon. Again, this has been on my wish list forever and never could find it cheap. And I never did buy it as an ebook. I'm almost positive. I have been known to put my foot in my mouth. So, this one takes place around the Hindenburg. And all of the recipe ones were 25 cents. The paperbacks are $1, and then the hardbacks are $2. So I paid $2 for that one. This one again, wish list forever. And honestly, I had taken it off my wish list and forgot all about it, so I was excited to find it. Kitchens of the Great Midwest. I read the first couple of pages of this, and I swear I was off in like Rosen Island land. Because it takes place in Minnesota, and the church is St. Olaf. So I'm wrapped in the Golden Girls thinking Rose is going to be somewhere in here, but no, it's just basically Lars Thorvald has 3 loves: his kitchen, his wife, and his newborn daughter. His wife leaves him, and so he just has his food and his daughter that he centers his life around. I think he maybe starts a restaurant. I am not entirely positive, but looking forward to that. $2. And all the rest are paperbacks. So all but one I paid $1 for a piece. Plum Wine by Angela Davis Gardner. And yes, I am annoyed that there are so many stickers on these, but for what I paid for them, it's a small price. It's okay. This one is Bottles of Homemade Plum Wine, Link 2 Worlds, 2 Eras, and 2 bottles through the eyes of Barbara Jefferson, a young American teaching at a Tokyo university. When her surrogate mother dies, Barbara inherits an extraordinary gift, a tansu chest filled with bottles of homemade plum wine wrapped in sheets of rice paper covered in elegant calligraphy, 1 bottle for each of the last 20 years of Michi's life. What did Michi leave her memories Why did Michi leave her memories to Barbara, who cannot read Japanese? Seeking a translator, Barbara turns to an enigmatic pottery artist named Saiji, who will offer her companionship as tender as it is forbidden. But as the two lovers unravel the mysteries of Michi's life, a story that draws them through the aftermath of World War II and the hidden world of the Habakusha, I'm not going to say no, Hiroshima survivors, Barbara begins to suspect that Saiji may be hiding the truth about Michi's past and a heartbreaking secret of his own. I found several Asian books, which y'all know I love those. I was really excited. So this one sounds amazing. And apparently this was a March of Dimes book for $1 too. So good to know they didn't price gouge. Then we have Midnight at the Dragon Cafe, by Judy Fong Bates. This one is an advanced uncorrected proof. I was looking around like, well, what's it about? And apparently it's a Chinese girl growing up, the only daughter of an unhappy and isolated immigrant family in a small Ontario town in the 1950s. Through her eyes, we see the hard life behind the scenes at the Dragon Cafe, the local diner her family runs. Her half-brother smolders under the responsibilities he must carry as the dutiful Chinese son. Her mother, beautiful but bitter, lays her hopes and dreams on Sujin's shoulders until she turns to find solace in the most forbidden of places, while Sujin's elderly father strives to swallow bitterness and save face at all costs. So this one seems mysterious. Again, Asian and food related. I'm excited about that. The Distant Land of My Father by Bo Caldwell. This one is another Asian book. Begins on Anna, the narrator, is living in a storybook world, exotic pre-war Shanghai with handsome young parents, wealth, and comfort. Her father, the son of missionaries, is a charming, though secretive man whose greatest joy is sharing his beloved city with his only daughter. Yet when Anna and her mother flee Japanese-occupied Shanghai to return to Los Angeles, he stays behind, believing his connections and a little bit of luck will keep him safe. Through Anna's vivid memories and her father's journals, we learn of his fall from charismatic millionaire to tortured prisoner. A breathtaking and richly lyrical story of betrayal and reconciliation that spans several years across 2 continents. The Distant Land of My Father unfolds to reveal an enduring family love through tragic circumstances. Then we have The Kitchen Boy, a novel of the Last Tsar by Robert Alexander, which I want to read this one ASAP, partially because it's so short, but because it's interesting. It's basically... Is this nonfiction? No, it's fiction, clearly. About a kitchen boy who sees all that happens during the execution of the Romanovs. So, that one's self-explanatory. There's a Slight Chance I Might Be Going to Hell by Laurie Notaro, however you want to say it. I have read all of her nonfiction, and she makes me laugh until I wheeze. She's so funny. This one is one of her fiction. I've been scared to try it, kind of like Jen Lancaster. I can't bring myself to try her fiction. Just let me keep her as nonfiction. I tried a couple pages of a Jen Lancaster book and it didn't work for me. But this one, basically, enter the annual Sewer Pipe Queen pageant, a kooky but dead serious local tradition open to contestants of all ages and genders. Aided by a deranged former pageant queen with one eyebrow, May doesn't just make a splash, she uncovers a sinister mystery that has haunted the town for decades. I'm going to give it a shot. It's worth it. Then we have A Private Hotel for Gentle Ladies by Ellen Cooney. Apparently, a woman is going to meet her husband. And this is a historical fiction, by the way. Set in the West, I believe. Doesn't really say. And finds him kind of in the town square kissing on another lady. And so she leaves him and goes to find kind of a new life for herself. And it ends up at this hotel. It says for all female clientele. So I don't know if this is going to be a raunchy book. I'm not, going to say anything about that. But it leaves much to be unknown. So we'll see. Turn Right at Machu Picchu, Rediscovering the Lost City One Step at a Time by Mark Adams. This one is pretty self-explanatory. In 1911, Hiram Bingham III climbed into the Andes Mountains of Peru and discovered Machu Picchu. While history has recast Bingham as a villain who stole both priceless artifacts and credit for finding the great archaeological site, Mark Adams set out to retrace the explorer's perilous path in search of truth, except he'd written about adventure far more than he'd actually lived it. In fact, he'd never even slept in a tent. So, that one's sounding pretty good. This one, haha, funny. Yes, it is Danielle Steele. It was a quarter. Property of a Noblewoman. I loved Danielle Steele when I was in high school. That's pretty self-explanatory. In high school, you're still kind of trying to figure out what you like to read. So I was one of those, I will read everything, and enjoyed her historical, not so much any of her contemporary. So I will still from time to time read her historical. I read one last month and enjoyed it actually, surprisingly. So I think this one, Faded Photographs of a Glamorous Couple in Post-War Europe, is what got me. So even if it flip-flops between post-World War II Europe and present day, I'm still interested. And it's in good condition for 25 cents. I'm sure they get a metric load of Danielle Steele. Claras Diary, An American Girl in Meiji, Japan. Correct me if I'm saying that incorrectly. In the summer of 1875, Clara Whitney, 14 years old, arrived in Japan, and so began a unique personal record of a girl's coming of age in a land just emerging from 250 years of isolation. This one looks older than it is. It was published, this particular copy was, I think, 1986, 1984. So it is 34 years old. Check 2 more years onto that, and that's me. Pretty good condition for being that old, but I will love that, I'm sure. 2 more. I have Sun Going Down by Jack Todd. The back of this one kind of sounded a little, why is my brain dying? I just got done with work, so I'm tired. And wanting to say Ernest Hemingway, and that's not even remotely who I am talking about. John Steinbeck. Totally different. It sounded a little bit like a John Steinbeck. Not that it's going to hold any type of candle to him, but it takes place in the Roaring 20s. Well, Jack Todd's masterfully written debut novel follows Ebenezer Paint and his descendants on a sweeping journey through Civil War river battles, cattle drives in drought and blizzards, the horrors of Wounded Knee, the desperation of the Dust Bowl, and the prosperity of the Roaring 20s. Each vibrant, unforgettable character is an echo from the letters and diaries of the author's own family. Archives, a grizzled Mississippi steamboat merchant, 2 horse-thieving brothers, 5 Annie Oakley-like sisters who can outride any cowboy, a half-Sioux bride who demands her new family claim her heritage, and a courageous daughter who defies her father and braves the West alone. Jack Todd infuses Sun Going Down with richly detailed authenticity and deep emotional power as he holds the reader fast through tears, laughter, terror, and joy until the very last gripping page is turned. Someone actually says, I don't always like doing comparisons even though I just did, but it says, a writer in the vein of Mark Twain, entertaining, heartbreaking, and inspirational. And the last one is My Sunshine Away by M.O. Walsh. This one, the cover drew me to it in that it has the French flaps and the deckled edges. Takes place in the summer of 1989 when 15-year-old Lindy Simpson, free spirit, track star, and belle of the block, is attacked late one evening near her home. Basically, she is, I believe, raped and murdered, which is pretty dang sad and gruesome. So I can't be like, oh, I look forward to reading about rape and murder. No, but it's intriguing. Let's just put it that way. Just because of who they suspect did it and who actually did it are 2 different things. I'm almost at 20 minutes. I hope this uploads. That is all I have. I do not have any more in the mail. I do not have any plans for buying any more. We'll see. not in the near future. The book sale, they gave me this neat little chum bookmark to say, hey, our next library book sales for this year are June, September, and December. If I can show it right. So I might go to at least one of those. And I spent $23, if you can see that, $23 at the book sale. I'm not going to count up how much I spent for the other ones. We'll just ignore that. I am reading currently She's Come Undone. I don't know why I started rereading that. I read it in high school and loved it. And while it's enjoyable, the main character makes you want to like football tackle her and slap her silly. She is such a hateable character. And I can understand the teenage angsty part of me. Oh my gosh, she's so awesome. And now I'm going, please. And then there's another one. Let's see if I can pull it up really quickly before adding too much more time to this video. It's a library book. They're both library books, which what happened is 4 library books came in and 2 of them I turned down because I knew that would happen. I have these goals of finishing up these books that have sat unfinished and then get all these library books. It's called Pilgrim's Wilderness, The True Story of Faith and Madness on the Alaska Frontier. So it says something about being like the Alaskan Manson family. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the cover. There we go. Oh, well, went back to where I was reading. Cover. If you can see that. So, I've only read a couple of pages of it. But that's it. 22 minutes. I hope it doesn't tell me that I have to re-record because I am not editing. I am not an editor. That's it. I'm done. If you're ready of these, let me know. Bye.